This Roblox spray paint video was made out of complete curiosity. I just wanted to see how well I could do at studying these classic paintings like the Mona Lisa in this case. So let's head into the speed paint and see how well I was able to tackle it. So the first thing I did to really make the job a lot easier is adding that warm background to start off. This really does help with the workload, since if I did start with a white background, there would be a lot more color work I had to do to capture that kind of warm tone of the entire Mona Lisa painting, especially with that skin tone, and it just reduced the workload in ways that a white background wouldn't have. With a low opacity and thin brush, I start sketching. I used a square brush this time. I don't think I've ever used the square brush in any of my spray paint videos at all. And you're gonna notice there's gonna be a lot of revisiting of the face. The face was the area where I was like the most nervous about. And yeah, I do a lot of erasing of the chin and like redoing it over and over again. And I do revisit the nose. The nose was something I thought that would make or break the kind of overall look of Mona Lisa. And of course I am constantly looking back and forth at the reference. When I was finally happy with the face, I start going in onto sketching out the rest of her body. Now this was definitely a lot more relaxing than doing the face. I was quite happy with it on the first go, so I just kind of left the body sketch as it was and left it to the very end as the same thing. Although I do go over the elbow at the very end, I nearly forgot my left and right here, her right elbow. I do extend it just a tiny bit. That was the most amount of adjusting I did. And when it came to the coloring, I started off like almost just a single toned study almost. So I decided to just establish all the dark brown areas because I thought there was quite a lot of that. So I thought maybe get the predominant brown tones first and then start subtly building up the greens and like the beige browns and the subtle reds of her hair like straight after the browns. So I thought it was the more efficient way, and I think again the warm background really helped just add or like blend in tones together so that warmth is all over it and there won't be any sort of, I guess, inconsistencies. And here I finally revisit the nose. I took a really big gamble with this because I thought I messed up and I knew this game didn't have undo, so this was kind of nerve-wracking, but I think I got there. I'm not even sure if I changed it that much, but yeah. So now you can see me here really going in with the skin tone now, and I guess the idea of all of this was a lot of just subtle build up, and I wasn't really going in strong and bold. Like most of the time the opacity tool was at its like lowest, so I could just really control the build up of color here. And again, the brown background really helped blend these tones together, because if it was a white background like I mentioned before, I would have had to consider like a lot more of the skin tone work. And just like the face, I start to darken and refine and slowly render in like the hands here. I thought the hands was like another obstacle that I had to go through, but I was quite happy with them. There wasn't much change I had to do, and it was mostly down to how I was going to color it that would really help it out. And so from here forward, a lot of the focus was now onto the clothing. Just like with Mona Lisa herself, I start rendering and refining by using lines, and of course still not 100% opacity. I don't think the entire study itself had any sort of like 100% opacity in it, and I was surprised that it wasn't even that laggy at all. And now I finally begin to add the greens and the browns and all those other colors to her clothing. Again, here with the brown background, it just helped with the overall like consistency. And it is very green here. I do realize how green it did look. And again, looking at the reference, a lot of it was quite dark, like dark brown. So I do make the green less prominent here. And here I do revisit the face again. I just wanted to do some tiny bits of retouch-ups. I risked readjusting her jawline again, and I thought again like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. But yeah, in the end I was able to just like make it just about right. And since the subject matter and a lot of like the lower parts of the painting were quite dark, so I think I was able to barely pick out that there was like a stool or something, like a table that she was leaning on. So I just again vaguely suggested that it was there, and you can see with the background, and yes, it was very unrefined because I just wanted to see how well I could capture the subject and just capture that kind of aesthetic. Obviously it would have been a lot more refined and proper if I took consideration the amount of detail I did in the background as I did with Mona Lisa itself, and the most I did here was kind of suggest where certain bits of the mountain were, or like suggest the color of a roadway being somewhere in the background, or like a pathway in the background. After I recorded this video, I already had another painting in mind that I'd like to make a video about. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out. Leave a like and comment if you want, and I'll see you all next time.